Without content, you do not have a brand. In this day and age, because perception is everything. We do look at your profiles and see how much content you have and see your numbers and determine if we're going to do business with you or not. But this next one, I think me and Moose were texting. Well, I text him about a strategy that I wanted to do. He's like, "This is funny. I was going to text you this same video." I said, "That's good."
Yo, literally.
Look at great minds. I like great minds. But talking about content, how do we go all in on our content? Should we not? And we were watching an interview with Gary Vee. And of course, this is the man that talks all about content. And so let's see what he has to say.
What you're doing by not going all in on content is leaving opportunity on the table. It's not that you're gonna go out of business. It's that somebody sitting next to you's cousin that's in the same market as you is gonna pick up market share against you if they go into content when they're not as good as you. Or if you're really good, you're just being double the size of your business.
Well, yeah, the one thing that I got from that, and I think he might have said it either later on in that clip or I just kind of ran to it, and it was this idea of you get to create the type of lifestyle that you want. So if you're happy with what you have and you're not necessarily interested in having to sacrifice time away from your family, from, say, your own well-being or whatever it is, and you no longer want to be in that grind, that hustle that most people often have when they're just getting started because they have nothing. And quite frankly, some of us can get a little comfortable when we start gaining some traction. We're like, oh, you know what? This is kind of cool. I actually don't have to work as hard. Or I got a real loyal tribe that I don't have to hustle for. They're there. They trust me. Whatever I'm providing for them works. The thing that really clicked for me was he said, well, if you stop trying to become bigger, what you have will eventually get smaller. By all means, that because things are constantly changing, whatever you did today to be relevant is not going to work tomorrow.
Right.
And I was like, wow, that's the mentality of a lot of people. It's like they call them, you know, some people they have that hunter's mentality or the farmer's mentality. And, or actually, no, that is the better way to say it. You have some of those people who are hunters, like they wake up every day and they're interested in trying to go get something new. And then you have others with a farmer's mentality who just want to stay and take care of what's there. And as they nurture that, they know that it'll continue to grow at a slower pace, right? But it's a totally different mindset. And it's like, wow, you can lose to someone who's not as good as you because you got comfortable taking care of what was working a month ago, or a year ago, or what got you what you currently have. So it definitely puts a little fire on to say, no, you have to stay in the game, bare minimum, to at least stay at the level that you're at. You can't just get to a level and expect to stay there by doing nothing. You still have to keep some activity flowing.
Yep, I agree. And how he explains it in that particular video makes it more easier than what people probably believe. It's like, you may think that you have to create original content on all these different platforms every single day. And he was like, do you see me dancing? Do you see me doing any of those trends or anything like that? No, what he does is take his life and documents it and has somebody cut it up, because everything that you do is content. And so from a bare minimum, going all in, if let's say, well, what we do with this podcast, right? We'll do a weekly podcast, normally about an hour or so, and then cut it up into 12 to 13 different things, different pieces of content, different types of content. And that will take care of all week or so, where people feel as if they have to create every single day, and you don't. You have other things to do in life. We're all content creators without necessarily being content creators, because real life content creators love to create original content, right? Where other content creators create content based off their life. It's not, I am intentionally creating content for so and so and so and so and this platform. And no, this is what's happening. Figure out how to format it to fit that platform, and figure out how to format it to fit that platform, and to have a consistent schedule over and over again, right? So you have to figure out what type of content creator you are. I'm more of the original one. Moose is more of the document my life, and we're going to figure it out and cut it up for these platforms, right? Either or is not wrong. The point is to put out content, and I'm going to say it, I'm going to stress it. Maybe the title of this podcast, without content, you do not have a brand. In this day and age, because perception is everything. We do look at your profiles and see how much content you have and see your numbers and determine if we're going to do business with you or not. We are. And so we first have to say, yeah, I'm going to go all in with this digital life. I'm going to go all in with content. I just have to figure out if I'm the one that can do original content, or I'm the one that is going to once a week at least record something that is going to be able to be documented for the rest of the week. Either or is great, but figure out what you are and don't feel pressured to do both. If you could, great. If you can't, that's okay. You just have to find your style of creating content and putting it out there, because if not, your competitors are going to look better than you. Period. And they probably are not. They probably suck, but they show up more. They put out way more content than you, which will then steer their thought process of, is what you're saying right or what they saying is right? Because they're putting it out there more. They're doing a little bit more marketing. They're showing it in a different light all the time, that the one or two times that you're posting kind of gets drowned out of the 7, 8, 9 times a week they do it. So you have to look at it like, I'm not trying to get beat by people who don't know more than me. I'm not at all. Now, if you know more than me, I can respect that, right? But I'm still going to probably put out more consistent content than those people who know more than me. Because the people who are even starting out have that same mentality of like, yo, I gotta put out a lot of content, and somebody's going to catch on to it, and they're going to think I actually really know what I'm talking about over the real experts in this game. So, and hence why we always had the conversation of, is there real experts out there? Or is it just because they know how to put more content out? That's where we are too. But we got to play the game. This is the digital game that we're in. It's draining to some. But if you understand how to play the game, the rewards are so amazing.
Yeah. And it's interesting because there's so many of us that are still worried about how other people perceive us. Mm-hmm. And when you listen to someone like Gary talk, he's telling you that, and for those of you who haven't checked out that full interview, at some point, go check it out. But he's telling you that one of his main objectives is to make sure he doesn't care who's asking him the question. Mm-hmm. He just wants his answer recorded and he wants to make sure everyone hears it on every platform.
Yeah.
And a lot of us are still so concerned about how other people perceive us that we're thinking about, wait, well, if I share with that, is that too much? Am I posting too much? Will I run out of stuff? Well, maybe I should just hold back. And people who are winning, I'm telling you, are not having those thoughts. How do I know? Because we're seeing it. As a matter of fact, they're coming out and telling you, stop caring about what they think because you're worried about something that honestly does not hold any value. And even more importantly, it's not important. People don't care as much as you think they do.
Right.
You're so worried about what other people think, and people don't care about you as much as you think they do. Now, if that doesn't kick some sense into you at some point and say, wow, so what's stopping my success is something that I believe in my head, which is not even true. At some point, you got to wake up and say, okay, I'm crazy. Legit, I'm crazy. Like, just accept that and do differently. So, yeah, it always blows my mind how at the end of the day, we're still our own worst enemies because we come up with these things in our minds as to why we shouldn't do it, or that's too much, or people are not going to like us, or they're going to unfollow. Maybe they weren't for you.
Talk about it. Talk about it.